All right, this is not a drill, guys. Silas is coming on banner. He's going to be on 15x rate up this weekend in just a day and a half. Kind of crazy because they have not given us any news. I did predict it last night and made an announcement. We got official confirmation today. You can see it's going from Friday the 10th until Monday. So a nice little 4-day banner for you. He's also on rate up with Edith. We'll talk more about her tomorrow in the Should You Summon. Long story short, she's extremely good for Gear Raid 5, Gear Dungeon 2, and that's basically it. She won't exist on anyone else's account unless they're very early or mid-game. And as good as she is at Gear Raid 5, Gear Dungeon 2, she can be replaced by Borit. So I'll probably put that Borit video out within the next week, I hope. So she's the definitive top option, but it's not like she's required. Silas, though, is a definitive top option for so much content. A full-blown triple S hero. I'll show you that right now. We'll go through these ratings in a bit. I'll do a quick head-to-head with Hex. They're slightly different kind of heroes, but I think some people have completely lost the forest for the trees as they progress through this game, and have forgotten how insanely triple S god tier Silas truly flippin' is. If for some reason you don't know what I'm talking about, no worries. Maybe you haven't been on the game yet today, and then you didn't check this notice. Very strangely, it's not your fault. In the event calendar, they still have refused to add the rate up banners and the weekend things. We could all see it coming, though, or at least I could. If you go to the notices, you go here, you go to game news, and then guides. You can see there was a Silas guide popping up. There was an Edith guide, so it was like, hey, those are probably the rate up heroes. Then you go right here to event notice. We get our weekend card pool preview, and we've got the full deets. Silas and Edith on a 15x. I'm going to do one other really fun thing in this video to try to do a fun, interesting showcase of the true potency and pure power of Silas. We're going to head into Nightmare 3. I just tested this, so I know it will work. I'm running Silas with only support and debuffers. He will solo DPS Nightmare 3 with an Epic Lord. He's that good. He is that flipping good, guys. Silas coming on rate up. Let's get into it.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
All right, let's do Silas's kit. His talent, he deals extra damage to airborne units after he attacks 5 times. So every 6th attack, he will trigger soul sniping. What is soul sniping? The key mechanic in his kit. Deals 140% damage, and it ignores 50% of the target's defense, so 50% penetration coming right at you. His basic attack, he deals 120% damage to one enemy. Everything you see here will be at max skill ups. The passive, if a unit within attack range dies, he gets a damage boost for 10 seconds. It goes up to 40%. It can be triggered once every 15 seconds. So for content where enemies are dying a lot, you can get 2/3 uptime on a 40% boost. Then we've got this passive. After attacking the same target for 5 seconds, inflicts Eye of Curse upon them for 12 seconds. Eye of Curse will be triggered only one time every 20 seconds. So you got, what is this, 60% uptime. It's very good against bosses or big elites where there's just one target in range. You'll also see during the Eye of Curse, while it's applied, Soul Sniping is dealing 50% extra damage. Soul Sniping gets even better. On the ultimate, his damage is increased, and now every attack during soul sniping will fully ignore 100% of the defense and 100% of the magic resistance of the target. This lasts for 20 seconds, so when he's ulting, he's essentially doing true damage that is critting. That's something Praetus can't do, right? True damage can't crit. He's effectively doing that, though, because he's fully ignoring all defenses, all magic res. In his case, only defense is relevant. And then the bond skill. So he's already like an insane, top 6 marksman in the game without the bond skill. With the bond skill, he's numero uno. Once you get Virna, the Wraith Queen, you unlock this effect. During the effect of Shadow Cloak, his ultimate, Soul Sniping, which is all of his hits, and then remember, they're all ignoring all the defense and critting, now it will deal 100% extra damage. That is not plus 100% damage. It literally is 2x damage on everything. You can visually see it. He shoots a second arrow. Instead of 1, it is 2. So that's Silas. He's completely broken, OP. He scales better than almost any hero and probably the best scaling single target hero in the game as you progress through the game, because at any point, doesn't matter if it's the easiest enemy or the hardest enemy, when he triggers his soul sniping during his ultimate, he's ignoring absolutely everything. It's really, really, really phenomenal. So that's this boy. He is worth every ounce of hype. Let's get into the tier ratings now, and you can see this isn't about Hex, but I just wanted you to have a reference. Silas is good at everything. As it stands now, 5 non-lords in the entire game on my website earn the triple S distinction. Silas is top 2. Him and Eloin are the 2 best non-lord legendaries and non-lord heroes in the whole game. It's remarkable. Guild Boss 1, he's truly phenomenal. You're going to see that right now. He's going to solo Nightmare 3. People often say, well, Hex is better. I would push back on that in a couple ways. In a vacuum, yes, Hex is better. However, Silas does more than enough to be a key contributor on your team. The issue with Silas is for him to really shine in Guild Boss 1, you do need his bond skill. Guild Boss 2, he's just phenomenal. Hex does deserve an S+ here, but depends what comp you're running. In some, one's better, in some, the other is better. Both tremendous top-tier heroes just directly off meta. Gear Raid 1, he shouldn't work here, but he does. They have such high defenses because they want you to use magic damage. Doesn't matter for him because he's going to ignore all the defense. You might be thinking, well, he's single target, you need AoE. He can snipe the boss. Even without Power of Dominance, he can do some crazy, crazy stuff. At the very least, he'll do incredible cleanup at the end. He's S tier there. He's S tier in Gear Raid 2. Phenomenal in Gear Raid 2. The only reason he's not S+ is he's not like definitive top DPS like Hotsit or Virna or Comet or something, but he can absolutely do it, and it's not that hard to build him for it. Gear Raid 3, best boss nuker in the game, full stop, completely goated. Gear Raid 4, not a top option. Gear Raid 5, borderline S+, phenomenal for the left side. He falls off a bit at the end, but you can still use him. AMR, no one snipes everything like he does, whether it's up to 18 sniping the boss, or it's later on using him on the top left or the top right for 20 and 22. Void Rift, he's maybe the #1 Void Rift GOAT in the game. Him and Hex, that's the comp, right? Him, Hex, and any Piercer Lord, that will carry you to glory. In campaign, he's goated. Faction Trials goated. Healer Codex, that's for healers only. Well, Silas can ignore all the defense, so if you time things out right, you'll see a lot of triple S teams sneaking a dirty little Silas in there and doing crazy stuff. Sticks, he doesn't go that fast. He's got a low attack interval, but not so much multi-hit in his kit though, right? Doesn't matter, because on the in-betweens, he deals more damage than basically anyone aside from Praetus in the game. It's insane. Torrent, best boss damage you've got in the game, except for crazy, crazy Pelagio stuff. Deep, deep, deep into battles. For any normal stuff, it's gonna be Silas. Guild Wars, he's just off the meta, but he's as nasty as a single target gets. That isn't Praetus. Single target arena, he's phenomenal. AoE, he's still solid if you just need an extra DPS. And then anti-air, he's phenomenal. The real reason it bothers me when people say Hex is better than Silas, they're like, I don't use Silas that much anymore. Yeah, if you reach the endest of endgame and you have all the ancient lords, this, that, and the other, I could see how certain accounts may outgrow him. It's not that you don't need him. You could still beat everything with him, but you have these crazy other completely broken triple S lords or whatever. So maybe you lean a little further into Hex and you're mostly using Hex in the guild bosses, something like that. So now you're like, oh, I don't use Silas anymore. There's 2 things to consider. He got you there, and he's completely, completely viable for all PvP. Hex isn't. This isn't a head-to-head comparison, but to make it that for 1 second, I love Hex. He's amazing. He is not Silas. You may say Silas needs the bond skill. You can say Hex needs the artifact. So on and so on. In a ideal thing where you have everything, Silas is the guy carrying you to the promised land. Full flipping stop. So the hype is real. If you don't have him, you absolutely should be pulling this weekend. I don't know if we're going to do a pulls party, so let me know if you're interested in the comment section. If like 5 or 10 people are interested, we'll absolutely throw that together. Now we enter the second spicy part of our video. You will watch me solo Nightmare 3, Drake's Chasm, Guild Boss 1 with just Silas. There's no other DPS here. The only other potential DPS would be Ares and Volca. Volca's here for her A1, the reduced reduction time so we can cycle faster. She also be used to place vulnerabilities. You can see Volca over here with her ultimate. She can place a physical damage vulnerability that lasts for 15 seconds. You can actually make that last another 5 seconds, so I'll throw on an exclusive piece for her right here. Ares is here for his defense break, though you don't really need a defense break, especially with Silas in Guild Boss 1. Guild Boss 1 has really low defenses to begin with, but even still, why not bring him? The key thing with Ares is when Volca isn't ulting, we ult with Ares, and we get the biggest physical damage vulnerability in the game, plus 30% increased physical damage taken by your enemy target. He is not in any DPS gear. You can see No crit damage. I've ignored all of this. He's just there to ult cycle and be very fast with some rage regen. That is his purpose. He's got double hitters from the artifact. He's got a chance at them at least. Same thing with Volca. Let's go down. We've got 2 inspiration heroes with Constance and Dolores. This is borderline overkill, but this way we can guarantee we have an inspiration going at almost all times. We've got Leia here. She's going to help with some rage cycling, with some damage boosting. Just being a nice lady. She's going to be in a max out Tumultuous Horn, so every time we cycle her on and off, she's got an insta ult ready. She also gives a Lord skill and thus an attribute bonus to Constance. Laurel's here for Laurel, for picking her up, putting her down, rage boosting. Hollow is here for rage and healing. Elowen is here strictly for rage. We don't even need her healing. We're just taking advantage of this passive. Silas is here to be Silas and deal all the damage. Lunaria is the Lord for him. We're doing this with an epic Lord, guys. An epic Lord. We are going to solo DPS Nightmare 3. You can see, we can take all the gear off of her. She'll never be on the field except for 1 split second. Why is that? Well, let me actually explain it to you. My Silas happens to be A3. At A3, when there are 2 or more marksmen on the field, it increases damage of this hero Silas and one other random ally by 15%. That will last for the whole battle unless we pick up Silas, which we won't. So at the very beginning, you will see me place Lunaria. There'll be this red glow that appears around her and Silas, and that will give us an extra damage boost. So obviously, I'm really optimizing this to get as much damage as we possibly can. But hey, we're trying to deal like well over 150 million damage on Nightmare 3 with 1 solo DPS hero and an epic Lord for him. You might be thinking, oh, I saw, I don't know, Kagiri, I'm assuming, 400 million from the best in the world. Let's see, what has Sandra done over here? Or Sung Wukong with 300 million, or Hex. That's Nightmare 4. You can deal a lot more damage a lot more quickly. Breaking 150 million is going to be pretty crazy here, especially with an Epic Lord. And what we're trying to do is get 180 million damage total. So Silas will need like 160, 170, something like that. So we can get the full max chest of 18,000 blood over here and solo this thing. Remember, he's also going to be soloing all the shields. Originally, I was going to show this on Nightmare 4, but it's pretty hard to solo all the shields on Nightmare 4. Maybe I'll do that one day maybe I could do it with Wukong or something like that. Without further ado, let's head into battle. I hope I just nail this on my first try. I did practice it twice because it's obviously not a typical comp. Let's explain what I'm doing here. Very quickly, I'm going to pick myself up, make myself a bit smaller so I'm not in your way. First things first, let's get Silas here pointed towards the boss. Then we will get Dolores. You can see Dolores is in a Wings of Grace, so we got 12% boost on Silas. Then we'll get Constance here. I'm going to place Elowen here to make sure she only can put her Invigoration buff that she's wearing on Constance. Why does Constance need that? Well, I actually have her in a Glacier set to really min-max this, so we're making sure she gets that Inspiration effect. And you can see there's Silas with the 12% Wings of Grace effect. So let's head back to the battle. Now we can place Laurel here. I'll quickly place Lunaria so you can see. I'll place her and you'll see a red glow appear under her and Silas. Boom, there it is. So now Silas has the effect of his A3. We can place Hollow here. And then finally, we'll place our 2 fighters for our vulnerabilities right there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to wait for Silas to line up his ult with Constance. And pretty quickly, we will be off to the races. And we'll line up Constance, Silas, and Ares. So let's trigger, trigger, trigger. I don't know why they didn't click. There we go. Trigger. We will ult here with Laurel, because why not? We're not going to ult with Dolores, because actually my Constance at A3, she's actually A4, has a stronger inspiration effect than Dolores. So we'll leave her there. She's there. Dolores' role is to ult when Constance can't ult. Same way that Volca's role is to ult and get vulnerabilities when Ares can't, because Ares are more potent. You can see if I click on this, I don't know why it's not working. There you go. Ares has the 30% increased damage taken. Ulting with Elowen doesn't matter. She's giving a map-wide buff to everybody. We wait, we wait, we wait. Put this on 2x. About to run out here. As soon as Constance is done, we're going to ult with Dolores. Pick up Laurel. Now we'll ult with Volca. Now we'll get Leia down. We'll ult with Leia instantly, plus 10% for everybody, plus a little more after. Now we ult with Silas, we ult with Hollow. So you can see most of the battle, it's not every second, but a lot of the battle, there's always vulnerabilities up, and there's going to almost always be inspiration. We're doing our best. There, we broke the first shield just with Sai. As soon as Leia's done ulting, actually, this first one, I should say, we're going to let her go for a second ult just because of how it times out with Laurel. But the other ones, as soon as she's done ulting, you pick her up. I mean, I shouldn't even say that as if someone's going to do this strat. You shouldn't. Right when Volk is finishing, we can get ready to ult with Ares again. Same thing will happen as soon as Dolores is finishing. We'll get ready to ult with Constance again. Dolores is ready, but we pick Constance over Dolores because of my build, because she's got Glacier with Invig, and because she's A3+, she actually is the slightly better inspiration hero. Throw it on 2x here. We're kind of settling into the battle. As soon as Volka's ready, we can ult with her. This is one of the big downtime moments where Silas doesn't have an ult ready. Go with Hollow. Now we're going to go Silas, Dolores, and we'll go with Leia. As soon as Leia's done, we'll pick her up. As soon as Ares is ready, we'll go with him. Perfect. Leia's done. Pick her up. Put Laurel down. Oh, put Laurel down. Big Laurel up. Okay, as soon as Dolores is going to be done, we're going to go with Constance. Now we go Silas. Now we go with Volka. Slightly early on Volka. Ares still had a little bit left, but it's okay. Remember, Volka gets 20 seconds now because I put on that exclusive artifact. There's the second shield. Kaboom. We're halfway there. We need 18K. We just passed 9K. Let me know if you guys like this kind of content. I know it's kind of silly, kind of goofy, but I think it's a pretty crazy way to showcase how potent some of these heroes are. All right, Constance just finished, so let's go with Dolores. We will go with Ares here, even though we have to wait for Silas, which is too bad. Oop. Perfect time for Leia, because she's going to give 10% to Silas right now, so we insta-ult with her. Let's go with Silas. As soon as Leia's done with her ult, we'll pick her up. She's giving damage boost the entire duration of her ult. If you have her A1 or higher, she actually will give damage boost for 5 additional seconds after the fact. Good Leia thing to know. Ooh, we can go with Constance, my bad. As soon as Ares is ending, we can go with Volka. Let's pick up Leia. Let's put down Laurel. We're going to waste some rage boost on Dolores here, but it's worth it. We'll pick Laurel up right away. You notice I'm not placing Lunaria. I don't want any extra DPS. I want Silas to solo DPS this. Keeping an eye on our vulnerability and our inspo. We're getting the other ones ready. Hopefully Ares comes back really soon. Silas is almost ready too. Perfect. Wait one sec. All right, Ares, Silas. As soon as Constance is done, we'll go with Dolores. There's Dolores. You can see Constance is almost ready again. So we'll be able to perfectly inspo cycle or inspo transition once again. Throw this on 2x now. So unfortunately, you'll see for this third shield, we're not going to have Silas's ult lined up with the shield and with the vulnerability and inspiration, but at least we will have the vulnerability and inspiration. So let's ult. We'll get a boost from Laurel in just 1 second, so it's only the beginning. We're in trouble here. There's Laurel. Leia. Perfect timing. As Volk is finishing, we go with Ares. As Constance is finishing, we go with Dolores. Constance is ready yet again. Oh, with Hollow, and we just passed the 18K. Can we get 20K? I don't know if we can, but I'm certainly going to try. As soon as Ares is finishing, let's go with Volka. As soon as Hollow's finishing, let's go with Constance. Silas is almost ready here. Definitely get our 19K at least. We'll get one more Leia boost. I should have said the first time I let her go twice, the last time I let her go twice. We'll go Ares, Hollow. Might as well click Eloin. As soon as Constance is finished, we go with Dolores. As soon as Leia's finished, we're going to pick up and get Laurel down. We just passed 20,000 blood with 1 DPS hero. Ooh, I ulted too early with Constance, but it doesn't matter actually because there's only 20 seconds left, and that's how long her ult lasts. And now we can basically just go down the line and let this go. So 21,000 Can we get 22? Come on, side, go 22. Oh, 21,993. 21,993. Not too shabby for 1 DPS. You can see we can't help but get a touch of DPS from Folka and Ares, but we got 190,335,000 damage from Silas. If you don't know how the blood system works in Guild Boss 1, Drake's Chasm, 10 million damage equates to 1,000 blood. So he single-handedly contributed 19,034 blood, easily giving us the 18,000 plus chests. Little bit of auxiliary damage here from our debuffers, but phenomenal solo DPS Silas. That is truly no joke, and I hope I somewhat proved my point. He is a phenomenal hero without the bond skill, but it really is with the bond skill that he goes to the absolute peak upper echelon. There you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Not my most typical video, but I really hope you enjoyed it. If you like my stuff, please do subscribe, share it with your mother. I've been Fastidious, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.